Epiphone Les Paul copy piece of shit, and it's not a piece of shit, though.
I love Epiphones.
I know. They're fucking quality for
People
what they
shit
are.
on them, but a lot of the, like the Epiphone Studio Les Pauls,
dude,
it's in the factory, they're like tallying up the number of defects, and if it's above a certain number, it's an Epiphone. If it's below a certain number, it's
a Gibson.
But they can be all visual, like little blemishes, just a tiny thing, you know? So it's like,
well,
why not?
When I was playing guitar a lot.
So it's just a great value Gibson, basically.
Yeah,
exactly.
But even when I was playing guitar a lot, I bought a Joan Jett signature guitar, and it was under $1,000. So it's like signature guitar under $1,000, you know. And I was not impressed, you know.
Oh yeah,
Gibson's. That just sucks.
They have not aged as well as Fender has.
Right. So
what was exclusive that made it Joan Jett?
It had an ebony fretboard. It was like a single coil or a single humbucker Les Paul Jr., but it looked like an SG, but the points were rounded. It was black.
I'm looking this up.
On the 12th fret, it had 2 hearts for, you know, Joan Jett.
Sounds like your style, man.
Oh, it's fucking awesome, dude.
That actually sounds cool.
And then my neighbor was a sign company and an electric company. They're fucking huge now, but they started out in a garage next door to my house.
Okay.
And they made me to like dude it out. I had them blow up, like the pick guard on the guitar is pretty big, and I had him take a King of Hearts and put it on the pick guard and then like cut it out, and then I had that behind it. So then all the heart shit went together without it being like too girly.
I like that.
But I love the fucking fretboard, dude. Like an ebony fretboard is so fucking soft. It's like even when you push on it, it's like you feel like you're gonna like, you know, hurt it.
Is it this guy?
It is that guy.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It was fun. It was super light. And it's just a nice little fucking chuggy chug machine.
It almost looks like the Dan Electro style.
Yeah.
Those are cool. Yeah, so, this is really. I like the red inlays.
Yeah. I was fucking stoked when that came in. And
it's only got the one pickup selection.
Yep.
That's rock and roll. I like that.
Oh, and it has a kill switch.
Oh, cool.
So that was fun to play with.
Because
you could be
bucket
like,
head.
Yeah.
Or whatever the.
No, but it's fun though. It's just like and then
yeah, that's cool.
I don't know.
A little tremolo.
Yeah.
Play some
Damn it.
lock or something.
Now I'm like missing that shit. I shouldn't have ever sold it.
It's probably worth a lot more now.
Yeah, stuff like that appreciates. I had a Tony Iommi signature.
Oh, that'd be bitchin'. SG?
I traded it for a, it's the black SG with the cross inlays.
Yeah.
I loved that thing, but a guy really wanted it, and he traded me it's a 1984 Kramer.
Yeah.
With like the, you know, Floyd Rose on it. And
like an OG 80s Floyd Rose?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's like a light, it was like a hot pink, but it's faded over the years.
So it looks bitchin'?
So it's like a whitish pink. It's just like a Judas Priest guitar.
That's
all
fucking
I play on it. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I love that. So no more Tony Iommi, but whatever.
Dude.
I like the retro guitars.
Well, I like that it had, like you said, it had that fade. So it just gives character, you know what I mean? Hell yeah.
I haven't owned a guitar since I was 19.
Just fucking around.
I sold all my stuff when I had my kid and lost my job.
I've done that too. Twice.
I always regret selling guitars. I was like, man, I should have just
after I've gone through so many times of like selling something that I'm kind of on the fence about, I just never sell it anymore because I always regret it.
Yeah, dude. I had a 56 gold top, but Epiphone. It was an Epiphone, but it was you know.
Those are cool though.
It was a repop or whatever. It was $400 with a case. Like that's what I got it for on sale. Or dude. That's the one guitar I would take that guitar over that Joan Jett one because it just fucking played so nice. Had P90s in it, you know.
Oh yeah, P90s are great. Popular for a reason.
Yeah, I love that raw shit, man. It's fucking just screaming at you. But we got to get on a different subject, man. I'm gonna get upset.
A broken heart.
Well,
yeah.
I'm sure both of you guys noticed the big red button. I already started recording randomly.
Oh, nice. Love it.
But for anybody listening, we have Tristan here with us, just sitting in on a random episode of Record Store Talk and music-related shit.
It's awesome to have you in town, dude, and finally, like, hang out with you person to person.
Yeah, exactly. Great to meet you in real life, and don't know. Nice to be just here on a Monday.
Hell yeah,
talk
dude.
about record
I
store
really
shit.
thought you guys met already.
Yeah, we had not.
When you were
It's
in
funny.
here, and I was just like, oh, whatever, Jeremy's in a hurry, he's got to go.
Dude, I did that to my old lady like a couple of times Saturday at that wedding, so
Were
don't
you-
worry about
You
it.
thought she knew somebody?
Well,
I'm terrible at that shit because I'm not good at...
Well, I don't remember that she
introducing
doesn't
people.
know who she knows and doesn't know, right?
Right.
So, my buddy Keith came up from Detroit. He smoked a deer like 15 minutes outside of town, so he had to have his car towed back to Canton, and then he was staying at Pat's. So I lived pretty close to him, so I walked down, got Keith, and I was walking back to my house, and like I didn't tell my old lady anything. I just walked in, and there she is standing in her robe and a towel, and I'm like, whoops, you know. And then later on, Keith and I were talking, and then Jess walks up, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Jess." And he's like, "Hey, I'm Keith." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm fucking sorry you were in a robe. What am I supposed to do, you know?" They're just laughing at me. It happens.
So aside from that, yeah, that would suck though. Like, think of like her side of that. You're like, oh, the first time I met this dude, I'm chilling in a robe.
Right. Yeah.
I guess like as a guy, I don't give a shit. I'd be like, yeah, I'm chilling in a bathrobe. Who cares?
But it would be like,
It's almost like a status symbol when you're a dude to be chilling in a bathrobe around the house.
nowadays it is.
But as a girl, it's like, oh, I'm getting ready and my hair's a mess.
Yeah,
It's
for a
weird how
guy,
that works.
definitely comes off James Bond-ish.
Right.
But it's
yeah,
gotta
if you
be
can pull it off.
It's gotta be silk.
Right, yeah. It has to be fancy.
You
with
can't have no plushy bathrobe.
no, embroidery on the
Yeah.
front, you know.
No,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
I'd have to. I don't think I could do the silk, man. I'd be
Initials
sweating.
that aren't yours.
Yeah, there you go.
I got this from the thrift store. So, have you been working on any music stuff lately?
Yeah, so I've got a few projects that are cooking. I've been working on new Elyvilon stuff. The new album is probably 2/3 of the way done. Definitely more like thematically intense than the last, but I'm trying to bring in like, you know, the style of the first album and the style of the second album, and then some like new shit that, you know, a style I haven't done yet, but more of like an Eastern flair, kind of Middle Eastern, bringing in some like Turkic instruments and stuff like that.
Oh, that'll
So,
sound
like,
cool.
Equal thirds of those things. It's more of like a concept album. But that one's been, I don't know. I often work on multiple projects like in parallel, you know.
Okay.
Like I'll be working on something and I get stuck. So I'll bang my head against it for a while, but then, you know, it's not working out. So I'll switch gears entirely and, you know, start recording something else. So I've been working on new Barrow King, which has been a lot of fun. We've got most of a first album written.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, written as far as guitar goes, and then just like basic drum parts and basic bass parts out there, you know, but I want to start tracking that soon.
Do you have more recorded than just that one song?
A little bit more, but not a ton. So,
Because if I remember right, when we interviewed you originally, we played the one single that you had out already.
yeah. Granite Throne.
Granite Throne. Yeah. It was like right there. And then you just spit it back into my head.
Sorry. But yeah, so that one, I co-wrote that single with the guy behind Blade of Kino. He's from Ottawa in Canada. Really cool guy. If you haven't checked, I know you guys aren't like dungeon synth turbo nerds like I am, but that's a really cool project. He does like a lot of Mellotron and like various, I think, Yamaha DX7 on that record. But it's a cool mix of like really heavily atmospheric soundscapes on, you know, a few different synths as well as, you know, Mellotron and stuff. And then mixing that with kind of like the medieval sounds too.
Right now.
So he does that really well. And we just became friends through Dungeons and stuff, but he's a phenomenal guitar player and like has some really good technical proficiency and comes up with just crazy riffs that are different from what I come up with. So we complemented each other really well, wrote a bunch of songs. And then really as soon as we got to the point where we had written everything, like for, you know, there's probably 9 4 to 5 minute songs that are like pretty well fleshed out. Some of them are 8 minutes, you know, and it's like, all right, we've got like a skeleton here. Let's like start making an album. And he's like, yeah, I just started a business. Things are ramping up, super busy. Probably can't still be in the band. So I'm like, well, I mean, I guess I could do everything myself again.
That's your MO, dude.
Exactly. So I might do
That
that.
is
We'll
your
see.
MO. You're just like,
Right.
I'll do it myself.
I guess I'm doing it myself, but I do want to have a live drummer, Like, I'll find a drummer and probably just pay him to like go through in the studio and
track
do the whole
them,
album.
yeah.
Was it just you and the other guy, or was there more to the band?
It was just us two. So
And
Have you ever programmed drums or no?
Bone Weaver programmed the drums.
Okay.
So I programmed them, and then we had a drummer go through what I programmed. Like, he's like, no, I would play it like this, and so it made it feel more human, but the sound of those still ended up being programmed.
Gotcha.
I'm still surprised that those Majesty's drums were programmed.
I know.
Yeah,
I couldn't
did a
even
good job.
tell, dude.
They did a good job.
He said it was easy.
Some people.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, if you're...
I even argued with a dude on Reddit. I was like, no, they're not programmed. And then, like, when he told me that during the interview, I was like, fuck, I got to go back and
I'm
tell
going
that
home.
guy
I gotta
it was
go
wrong.
back on Reddit, son of a bitch.
I don't even use Reddit that often. I was trying to, like, use it to promote the podcast, and it's just, I don't know. It's a weird thing to get into if you haven't used it since the beginning, because there's so many, like, rules and parameters to every thread you get into, and this one you can post pictures, this one you can't advertise, this one you can't, I don't know, it's just fucking annoying.
It's a clusterfuck to me, and I'm not even trying to promote. And, I just open up the thing and try to answer a question, and they're like, you haven't been a member long enough or
Yeah.
some shit.
I kind of gave up on it.
Yeah, I gave up.
There's some good communities on Reddit. Like, if you're looking to find, like, exercises for getting better at, like, guitar technique, amazing. They have so many good resources. Always, like, the
It's
beginner
fucking
guide on
crazy
Reddit
world,
is
man.
really cool. Like, you'll go, oh, I want to start skateboarding. Here's, like, an awesome guide. Or whatever hobby it is. But, like, that's all I touch it for. Like, maybe music here and there, but
Yeah.
oftentimes,
Yeah.
But, like, the random hobbies where I'm like, man, I want to figure out how to, like, I don't know, paint this wall without, screwing it up. I mean, I guess I wouldn't need it for that, but as an
It's an
example, just
example,
like
yeah.
anything like that, it's usually pretty
They
awesome.
have all instructions and
Right.
step by step, right on.
But yeah,
guess
as
that
far
makes
as
sense.
Majesty's goes,
I just always go to YouTube for that
yeah.
shit.
true.
But yeah. But what were you going to say about Majesty's?
With Majesty's, when those guys are obviously like at that level of technical proficiency with just playing the guitar,
Yeah.
so like of
I know.
course all the music
when
stuff seems
Jeremy
easy.
and I finished that interview, we were like, dude, I got to go back and like re-listen to that
Yeah.
because there was some really technical shit.
Yeah.
I mean, they're smart though. You can tell that they've devoted the time and practice to it.
Exactly. Like it probably feels like it was easy to him. Like he was being honest. He was like, "Yeah, it was easy." But like,
Yeah. Because every
Well-
other time I've heard programmed drums, you're like, I think like Dragon Force, you're like, that ain't possible. That's not happening.
Right.
It just sounds so like unnatural. And then that comes out, and I'm like, oh yeah, they gotta, because they did get a drummer right around the same time, so I thought it was that guy, but he's just their live drummer.
I think the thing with programmed drums is you really got to pay attention to making sure you're thinking about how a drummer would actually play it the
Yeah.
whole time. So if you don't play the drums, that's when you end up with the Dragon Force or whatever.
Gotcha.
Because it's like,
Makes
oh yeah,
sense.
like
And
of course
yeah,
the
that
drummer
makes
can do
sense
this.
because
Yeah.
oftentimes you would be not, or you would be programming the drums if you weren't a drummer. So
Right.
yeah,
When I program drums, before I started playing the drums, I find you like bounce back and forth between the extremes where it's like, yeah, he could totally play this blast beat and it wouldn't happen. And, you show a drummer and they just like roll their eyes at you. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? But then you have that experience with the drummer once. So then the rest of the time I'm programming stuff and it's way simpler than it needs to be. You show an actual drummer and they're like, oh no, like let's actually make this interesting. So there's a balance to it, but
Yeah.
I find the best way to get really good at programming drums, or at least I've gotten better at it. The best way to do that was learn how to play the drums. So
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, like for me, I'm not a drummer at all, and I could see like programming drums how I would whatever's in my head, right, is not gonna be natural. Now, how could you make it come like? Because I know it seems like some people want it to be unnatural and want it to sound,
right, if you're Igor
yeah,
and you're writing some avant-garde
It's just
breakcore, then yeah, you're gonna try and make it sound
it's, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
100%.
But the even the fact that all that shit's so accessible now is cool. Like you don't have to go track down a drummer. You can play with a dude in Ottawa, like, and have a whole fucking band, and you guys never even have to like physically meet.
Yeah,
So
100%.
gnarly.
Until you go to tour, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure that out when we get there. But
I think it works better for rappers to do that than.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they tour, but like you could get a beat maker to send you beat packs of 110 beats a day or whatever. Never meet the guy, and then make a whole album with him, and you can play that whole album on the road by yourself, as long as you credit the beat maker. And I see a lot of times now where it'll say like this guy and this guy, to where it credits the beat maker, where as before it didn't.
Dude, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think the difference there between, like, you could theoretically do that with metal, right? Rip the stems and play those through the house live.
But
it would be.
You want to see,
right?
You
like,
could, but it wouldn't be the same.
Or
You'd
like the
see
style of
the
music.
drummer playing
Exactly.
the drums.
Yeah, like with rap, it makes sense because the focus is on the the lyrical symbolism and the the performance of actually,
Spitting,
rapping, spitting those bars, right?
Yeah.
But then with
and you're right. They're not like, you're not looking at the speakers like, oh, look at those things thump me. Oh, it's off.
Exactly. Like someone made the beat and everyone understands that, like, you made the beat and you loop it and the point is the lyrics. So for metal, it's like, well, the point is that these guys are totally nuts and they're playing some insane shit that only a crazed and demented person could come up with. So I want to see him do that, like, for real, and then I want to throw myself at the other people in the crowd.
Yeah,
but,
in my head, it would be so weird to see just one person playing that. Like, you know what I mean, on a stage, like
it wouldn't fit.
Yeah, just
the band would get criticized for it. They'd be like, they don't even play their own fucking music.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's weird how there's
differences like
that, which you don't really like think about.
I saw an old show from Grimes, and she was doing all her own shit, like, and it fucking looked hard, man. Where she was like, she had to do her pads, she had to do the computer and sing. Now it probably doesn't have to do that anymore because she's like pretty big.
Oh, she was like live looping.
Yeah, and it was like like a brown show festival. There was maybe like 50 people there. It's crazy, but doing all her own shit, and that looked pretty difficult, man, to like keep that all together.
On a similar note, I've been figuring out, I had some potential inquiries on playing live with Elyvilon. I was invited to do a thing that was going to be like an online video recorded performance, but like you're supposed to perform it live and record it and then send it in to like a festival. And the festival happens in person in the spring, but then there's like the summer one where it's just the video thing is like advertising.
Okay.
For the in-person festival. And so I was thinking through a lot of this where it's like, okay, I've got a lot of MIDI synths. I've got some physical synths. Like, also, there's just a lot of drum parts. Like, if I want to perform as Elyvilon, what the heck should I do? And so my idea was to just play the drums in the Deepwood Troll album.
Yep.
And get, like, a huge rack tom and a tambourine and set those up next to, like, 2 keyboards and have, like, a big mallet and play the bass drum and the snare, essentially. And like some of the hi-hats with the left hand, and then just do the melodies with my right hand.
That'd be badass.
It ended up falling through the video gig, I guess, got canceled. Because the person who was organizing it apparently couldn't float it anymore. But we'll see. I think I'll probably end up performing with that alias at some point, so we'll see. But
yeah, dude, that'd be great.
But
have you done any live shows or no?
Just in high school. I was in a post-hardcore band. I was a bass player called Party at Gatsby's.
Party at Gatsby's.
It was funny. Like the album cover was like, a watercolor of like a guy in a suit, very like art deco, like 20s style. It was fun. I enjoyed doing it. I included as many like slap bass parts as possible and just was having a lot of fun with it. The guy I was in the band with, or a couple of the guys, are like involved in, like, one of the guys owns the studio that I do all my Elyvilon recording at. That's where I did Bone Weaver, all that stuff. So
you've known that dude since high school? Then?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not that Sam dude, is it?
I've known Sam since Sam Meridian did
the crazy guitar player guy.
Yeah, he did the guest solo on the Bone Weaver album. I've known him definitely since elementary school.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we were in,
that's
like,
right.
I think the same first grade
That's cool.
class, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that now.
Yeah, he's just been touring with Fallujah for the past 2 years, I want to say.
I
Pretty
checked
sweet.
out like all his YouTube videos after you told me about it. He's fucking nuts.
Yeah, he does crazy stuff. Like my favorite one is with Meshuggah, where they
Yeah.
like he found an interview of one of the guys in the band saying, "Oh, we don't play I live. I is meaningless, like nonsense. You couldn't play it live. It's not possible."
And then he does.
And then he plays the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
He
so
played it like
rad.
really well too. It
Yeah.
wasn't even just, and it looked like effortless. Like
Yeah,
he's just sitting there like strumming like somebody would be around a fucking campfire or something.
I love
Like,
that the
there's, like-
band said it couldn't be done. That's great.
it's a good way to get some attention. I think that one went kind of viral.
Yeah, it had to have, because I remember there being quite a few views on it. But that's just like a good sales pitch for a video, though. Like you
Right.
start off by saying like, "No, we can't do that," and then you do it. By default, people are gonna watch that. It doesn't matter if it. I mean, it's controversial, and controversy sells. So the Elyvilon album, do you have a name for it yet?
I don't.
No. Is it gonna be Mordor or Mordor Head?
Mortarhead, yeah.
I thought of a band name last night
Uh,
for a Dungeon Synth project called Mordor Head.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Lord of
yeah.
the Rings.
So that strikes me. I was thinking about that earlier today. Have you guys heard of like Mac Sabbath? It's like cover bands
Yeah,
that
they
like
play.
put a spin.
They're McDonald's.
Yeah,
Black
McDonald's
Sabbath
Black
cover
Sabbath.
band. Yeah,
That to me sounds like a Lord of the Rings Motorhead cover band,
yeah.
which
that
would be sweet. Like,
yeah, that's gnarly.
I don't know.
But you'd need some midgets. Because like you need to have at least one hobbit in that band.
Right. Well, if you're Mordorhead, I feel like you could dress up the rhythm section like orcs or something.
Yeah, you could,
I
but it'd
don't
be
know.
better
Hobbits would
with a
be fun.
midget.
Okay, if you're gonna play a Hobbit band though, it should be like Irish folk music, bluegrass type stuff. Like you should have a banjo and
Yeah,
Like
because
someone
that's
playing the washboard.
more native to their sound.
exactly.
Yeah.
You
From the
just need a
Shire.
little person singer.
the front man, short
Yeah,
man.
like like a hobbit.
Okay, so you need orcs and midgets. Why don't you get a midget and dress him up as an orc, and just bridge the gap right there?
That happens in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Crossbreed,
I'm
dude.
saying there's those tiny like little get one of them weird little goblin dudes from
True.
from the
you can do
Goblin
that.
King. That's like hanging off that fat guy. I don't remember if he had a name or not, but
I think he was the Goblin King.
yeah, I remember the Goblin King had a name, but
Oh.
the little like creepy dude that was hanging like off his back or shoulder or whatever that
It's
was
been a while since I saw that
yeah,
one.
I don't think he had a name. It was
Yeah,
just
probably
some
not.
little goblin dude. But you know what I'm talking about.
Fucking
Right.
Lord of the Rings.
Nerd shit.
I was in a Star Wars inspired band. We played one show. It was pretty rad.
Was it like synth heavy power metal or something?
No, it was just hardcore.
Oh, that's cool.
I was Mace Windmill. We had a Boba Edge. We had like all these funny names, and
What was the name of the band?
it was just a symbol. It was just the rebel symbol. Played one show. It was all good. It was fun, but definitely not Lord of the Rings, man.
I feel like people would just by default call you the Rebels then.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Fucking Mace Windmill is a great name.
Yeah,
man.
dude, I like that. I came up with that on my own.
Han guitar solo.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I just did that just now. I'm copyrighting
There you
it
go.
though, so nobody take it.
But I didn't have a purple guitar.
Oh,
That
That's a
would have been
mistake,
fucking
yeah.
awesome.
Oh, one thing I did want to mention in here, and you can go ahead and plug yourself, but we have
Damn it.
Drums in the Deepwood records in the store now for anybody that's interested who's local, or even if you're not, I can ship them too. And I think they're $25 if I remember right.
that's
Yeah.
correct, yeah.
Yeah. So how long did it take you to get that whole thing pressed up and finished?
So I think I put in the order in November or early December, I want to say. Third Man did a pretty good job. I got him in hand. I told him I wanted it by the 1 year anniversary of the release of the album, which was May 20th of last year, 22. So I remember being pleasantly surprised because they got them to me like I think a week and a half early. So all in all, about 6 months.
Nice.
That's not bad.
Not too bad.
No.
How many did you do total?
500, and we split it between Barrow Hoard Records that I own, and then there's another label in Texas called Engraven that started up recently, and they, through friends in the music scene, I got to know the owner of that. He wanted to do a split there, so yeah, it worked out really well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're cool. Have I shown you, Ryan, Abasa, Abhasa?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so Abasa's like post-black metal, instrumental post-black metal, I guess. It's kind of doomy, a lot of groove. No vocals or anything.
You did.
Yeah.
But
The more you're describing it, the more I'm remembering it.
yeah, so they release on Engraven, and I ended up doing the bass on their upcoming album that's coming out, I think, in less than a month.
Okay, cool.
So that was super fun.
Yeah, you're all over the place. Eh?
Oh, yeah.
That's
all over.
awesome.
So I had a lot of fun with that. I was like, man, I'm just playing the bass on this record. Like,
Yeah, you don't have to live up to the expectation of like an entire band by yourself.
right. So I was like, man, I'm going to write some crazy stuff here. And I did some like weird, like galloping, tapping parts and like funny hammer-ons and all kinds of weird stuff. And
When's
just
that
try to make
coming
it
out?
groovy. I think it's late August, I want to say. I'll send it to you guys for sure.
All right.
How do you spell Abasa? Just how it sounds?
Yeah, Abhasa. It's hard
yeah.
working on it because
It's in my library, so
well,
I definitely listened to it then.
cool. Yeah, I think it's really good. I was talking to the guys who were in that band because those dudes have Dungeon Synth projects, and so I met them through that. But I just was like, damn, that stuff sounds really good. Can I like do something on the next record? And they're like, yeah, play the bass. So worked out, and I've been mixing it with the one of the other guys in the band.
What is with the little symbols as song title names?
It makes it so hard to talk. We're like, yeah, on the one track that's like the clockwise. I think they're Sanskrit.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure why they're like that, but it's very like, it's meant to be esoteric and arcane. Very.
They almost look like numbers.
I think they are numbers. I think they're Sanskrit numbers.
Oh, so 5 looks like 4, 7 looks like 6.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That's confusing.
It's definitely confusing.
Like I can see the 1, 2, and 3, but yeah, I don't know. That is confusing.
I think
But
it's kind of cool.
it is cool because
but-
it makes them kind of stand out. But at the same time, if you're like, oh, I really like the track,
Right. It's like a modem startup noise.
yeah,
Or like
yeah, you just
when
shut
Prince
down.
was a symbol,
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Formerly known as.
It's
It's
I wish we had song
Midwestern.
titles because it would be a lot easier to be like, oh yeah, this song was good, or just like, hey, can we change up this part on
Yeah.
the fourth one?
You gotta draw out the song.
Right.
You're like, oh shit, wrong squiggle.
Draw it out and text them a picture.
Yeah. It's a fucking Crayola drawing. You said they're a Texas band or they're on the Texas label?
On the Texas label.
Okay.
The guys are from. I hope I'm allowed to say this. I think so. I don't know. They're kind of secretive, but they're from Indiana.
All right.
But yeah, we were talking about maybe someday if there's like interest getting some live shows going together. So that would be fun.
I remember talking to Majesties about there's like a Dungeon Synth festival or something like that
That's the
goes
one
on. That's the one you were
I
doing
was just
the
talking
video
about.
for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I was just double checking that there wasn't two. Where is the festival first off?
It's in Massachusetts, I think. The guy from Majesties
That right,
went.
because
We
he was
talked
in
about it.
Boston or something.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. I think it's in like northern Massachusetts, like kind of in the country. But yeah, it's called Dungeon Siege. They do a northeast one, and I think there was a northwest one too. People have been whispering about a Midwest, so I definitely want to be involved in that if that happens. So there's that. That's been going on for a couple of years. I didn't make it, but I'd like to go eventually or play. I've been talking to the guy who organizes it. We're gonna see.
Is it a show or is it like a Renaissance festival?
It's a show. It's
Okay.
it's like any other festival. They have like maybe 20 people play.
Oh, right on.
A lot of nerds go, and it's very like set piece oriented. People will put a lot of effort into like putting like candles on their synths or wearing hoods and costumes and stuff. So I've been coming up with a costume for mine. I'm gonna dress up like a troll. I have this like reindeer pelt, and I have a Renaissance fair like brooch or whatever, like cloak clasp,
Yeah.
so I can like wear it like a cape, and then I'm gonna wear a mask and paint some weird like woad paint, like blue, like
Do you need I have a zebra skin.
I feel like that's the wrong.
I got coyote.
The coyote could work.
I got
I have
mountain
I was
lion.
making a mantle out of like
You
rabbits.
got these fucking.
furs.
I got these. I got
He's
these
had these 3 pelts sitting in his truck.
fucking like a month.
You're just looking for something to do with them.
No, I went over to my friend's house, and we go there, like my kid and I go there on the weekends sometimes. And as we were leaving, he has a bear pelt on his couch in the garage, and we're like pet it or whatever. It's nice and it's all taken care of. So he convinces my kid that oh, he needs a fucking full zebra, a hyena, and a mountain lion. The hyena's fucking cool, and it's only like 3
It's all
feet,
like spiky.
right? But I'm just like, whatever, man. Throw them in the truck. Let's go. We get home, and my wife is like, "You're not bringing those in the house." And she's like, "And that is against everything we believe in." And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, "Yeah, you got a point. Like, I don't like hunting. Why the fuck am I gonna bring a zebra in my house?" But I was like, I didn't kill it, and it is a zebra.
Yeah,
I've never been to Africa.
Where else are you gonna find a zebra pelt?
That's the closest I'm ever gonna get to a zebra, as far as I know. I mean, maybe. But even if I was that rich, Africa would be a little lower on the list. I do want to go to the Congo, but only for the silverback gorillas. Like that's about
One
it.
day you're gonna get pulled over and searched, and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck?
I know,
Like,
dude.
why do you have a zebra, hyena, and a mountain lion in here? These aren't even native to the same place."
Yeah, what are you gonna do? I didn't poach him from here, dude.
Yeah.
But okay, just so you know,
I
they'll
mean,
be
hey,
around.
if you're offering them up, I could probably find some use for them.
Right on.
You should mount one to your hood. Just lay it sprawled out.
I feel like
Can't
I've
do
seen
it.
that with an old GTO with like a tiger skin,
Oh man, a tiger
Oh,
would
that'd
be
been-
sweet.
Yeah, the GTO would be fucking cooler than the Tiger.
Yeah, but think of how cool they would be together.
Oh yeah,
You'd be playing Dio the whole time.
oh, it'd be
Just
fucking
have it
awesome.
on repeat at the Ride the Tiger line.
Have you
That's
guys
your
seen,
soundtrack.
Oh yeah, Ride the Tiger.
Yeah, dude.
Have you guys seen Trailer Park Boys?
I tried for so many times to watch that show, and I could never get into it.
Gotcha. There's one character who just drives around and he's got the same shitty old 80s rock song on every single time. Cyrus, he pulls up and you can hear him from down the street.
And it's
driving
always
his
the
Corvette.
same
It's always the
song.
same song.
What's the song?
So I don't even know if it's probably a royalty free Trailer
Oh,
Park Boys
yeah.
just found
Yeah.
some
Gotcha.
generic shitty hair arena rock. So I love that
Is
show.
it still going? New episodes still going?
I doubt it. I don't think so. A lot of the cast ended up passing away.
I think it, and didn't that old dude pass away? The one
Yeah,
that,
Jim Leahy.
Bubbles?
I think Bubbles is with us. I sure hope so.
The old dude was Mr. Shikadance from fucking Ace Ventura, wasn't
I
it?
think you're right.
Where
Yeah.
he's like, Ventura.
Yeah.
That guy?
He was
Yeah.
the best drunk actor of all time, but he didn't drink at all. But
Yeah,
his
yeah.
Jim Leahy character, he's always drunk, and it's the most convincing acting of it of all time. It's pretty cool.
If I remember right, he was the park manager or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Trailer park manager.
Like I said, I tried, but I just I couldn't do it. And I'm a fan of dumb comedy. I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is another stupid ass sitcom. But
Right. Yeah.
I guess it's just that didn't hit for me.
I think with that
I've
one,
hung out in trailer parks though. And I don't know. I've gotten the entertainment that I need,
That's fair.
and then watching that, I'm like, yeah, this is about right. This shit really does go on.
Yeah. I think that one. Yeah, you're not a beer drinker, but
Lately, I've been drinking these lime ginger beers though.
that sounds good.
I've drank 24 beers in the last 3 weeks. So that's
All right.
I know people that do that in a day. That's a big number for me because
Right.
prior to that, it'd been 6 years since I'd drank that many, accumulatively.
I just bring that up because I think Trailer Park Boys is the type of show where if you haven't had one or two beers, it's
yeah,
just
it doesn't resonate the same.
But then you have
Yeah.
a few. There was one summer where I was living in a house with a couple friends, and every day we'd get home from work, and everyone was in the process of moving somewhere else. So we had 6 couches in our living room. It was just full of couches. And there was all these couches and a bar and a TV. And so every day we'd get home from work at the same time. We'd all crack open a beer. Each person would lay on one of the couches, and we'd just turn on Trailer Park Boys. And so that was every weekday for 3 months.
It's a way to relax, dude.
Yeah. So
that
for me,
show's
it's
funny as fuck.
Yeah,
I had
it's
a yard
ritual.
couch for a while that we did that on.
That sounds wonderful.
I had this like shitty old couch in my living room. Somebody sat on it. It broke, like fell to the ground, like everything that supported it gave out. And then I was like, well, fuck it. We threw it in the backyard and then sat on it, did random shit. And then one night we had a chainsaw party and demolished it. In theory, I thought it was going to clean up better because I was like, yeah, we'll just burn it. And it made a fucking mess. It
Probably
was
smelled terrible.
No, it didn't really smell bad. It just like, there's a lot more stuffing in a couch than you realize.
Were you burning the stuffing or no?
I was burning everything.
I like when it drips down.
We were just
dude,
cutting
that
off
shit was
chunks
cool
of the
as fuck.
couch and whipping it into the fire and then letting it go. But I guess if it stunk, I didn't really pay attention because we were busy beating up the couch.
Either way, it sounds like a pretty legendary party.
But I don't even remember how we got off on this tangent here. We're supposed to talk about music things on this podcast.
Well, I just want to mention one more couch thing. We had
You
one
got a
on
couch
the
story too?
Yeah, we had one on the stoop, which is the corner of 9th and Chisholm, and I don't know who removed it, but it was pretty fucking cool to have a boombox and a couch like in the middle of the fucking city, and
It
we
stayed
just
there for like a
yeah,
while,
we just
didn't
hung
it?
out there, and some asshole was like, "I'm trying to run a business. You guys need to get out of here." That's my only good couch story.
That might,
It's a
if
pretty
people
good
are
couch
hanging
story,
out
though.
on the couch, it might attract new business.
It could have,
If people are having a good time. I don't know.
but the couch was right in the middle of the front door.
Oh,
We were just like, "Fuck you guys."
okay. Well, in that case, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, back to music stuff. What have you been listening to lately?
Well, I listened to that new, I think it's Sumerland's
Yeah.
record. I probably listened to that 5 times in the past 3 days. It's just so good.
I haven't listened to it since I was ranting and raving about it when it came out, whenever that was earlier. Was it this year or last year?
I think it was
last year.
It was last year. It was in like September, I want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It is
Relapse killed
awesome,
it there.
Yeah, that album
Great
kicks
album.
ass, man.
I like the first one a lot too. I've been meaning to pick that one up so I can like listen to them back to back. But I feel like every now and then, I don't know, I go through cycles of what I'm listening to with music, and it's generally like a genre type cycle. And I can
do that
feel
too.
like the new wave of trad heavy metal. There's just like a big wave that's gathering strength, and it's about to crash over me because, the Sumerlands is ushering it in.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be all I'm listening to for the next, like, probably month. Before that, though, a lot of Thy Catafalque. You guys know him?
No.
He's like a Hungarian virtuoso. I don't know. He mixes Hungarian folk music with black metal and, like, heavy synth stuff. And it's
Sounds awesome.
it's
though.
really impressive. Like, there's really amazing violin in it, and, like, all the drum parts are incredible. He brings in lots of, like, traditional instruments, and then he'll transition from, like, what sounds like, something you'd hear in, like, the mountains of Hungary, and he'll play the same melody, and he'll bring in, like, synths, and then every instrument will swap out over the course of a couple bars, and then it's like a synthwave song
That's enough.
with, like, electronic hi-hats, and I don't know, it's crazy.
I'm gonna have to check
So,
that out. for
Yeah,
sure.
it's really cool.
How do you spell the name?
THY CATAFALQUE. It's 2 words.
Yeah,
Like thy is in yours.
Yeah, okay.
He's got an album called Geometria, which
It kind of looks like thy catalog, but if you accidentally hit the wrong buttons on a keyboard.
oh yeah, I think that name actually goes really hard. I think it's sweet.
What
'cause
does it mean?
a catafalque is, I looked this up after listening to this band for like 4 or 5 years. It's like a funeral plinth. So he's like, the name is like your, funeral casket, basically. It's like My Arms, Your Hearth. So the album Geometry, I think, is amazing because the first 3 tracks, it's like dark jazz that turns into a folk track, that turns into death metal, that turns into synthwave, and all the transitions are so smooth.
In like one track.
It's 3 tracks, but each one it like
It just
seamlessly
flows.
blends. Yep. It's amazing. So I've been
I
listening
love
to a
when
ton of
bands
that.
do that.
Yeah. Other than that, let me think about King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Yep.
That
I love that band.
that new album, it's like the craziest long name of all, like Petrodragonic
Yeah, I just saw it on
Apocalypse
here.
or the Death of the Universe. Like, I don't know. It's crazy. Like, it goes on for like a paragraph. But that new album is fantastic.
Dragonic Apocalypse or Dawn of Eternal Night and Annihilation. It keeps going.
It keeps going.
It cuts off. You don't even get the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, it won't show me the whole thing either.
Yeah, I like reading it to my friends, but you have to pull it up on Wikipedia because that's where like they have the full thing. But that album is flawless. It's really like seamlessly written, where like they'll hint like after you listen to it like 10 or so times, you'll be listening to like the second track, and you realize like they're playing a riff and they play it the same way twice, and then they'll play it weird the third time, and the way they play it weird is they're just playing the melody from the chorus of a later song for like one repetition. And they just like hinted it like that. They do
that's
so
coming next. Like they just kind
coming
of
later.
Easter egg it in there.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
they
gnarly.
do. There's so much stuff like that. Like one of the first riffs is how they end the album with like a cool sort of almost polyrhythmic.
It makes for
chugs.
like really good like re-listening too. You know what I mean? Like makes
100%.
people want to go back. That's fucking cool.
And the production, in my opinion, is phenomenal. All the fuzz tones and everything. It's got like a lot of raw punch, and the production is really good, but it doesn't feel overproduced. The vocals are heavy. It's like, I don't know, an hour of basically like psychedelic Motorhead, and I love it. So, been listening to that a ton.
That's intriguing. Psychedelic Motorhead.
I really like how colorful the album cover is.
Yeah, a lot of lizard.
Yeah, I say
energy.
I'm like looking at all the like little things that are in the smoke and underneath it and whatnot.
Yeah, I want to figure out who did that art.
Well, we're interviewing them next week. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, King Gizzard's coming on. That would be wild. I want to see them live. I still haven't managed to.
I've still been on like a 70s, 80s punk kick for the most part. Minus that emo kid binge of music I had last night to see what sucks and doesn't from 2005.
Hot Topic special.
Yeah. I did. Like after you left my house, I made enchiladas. We watched 2 episodes of South Park with my kid, and then I went in the garage and I was listening to something, and I was talking to somebody about her uncle's wife being the program director for the band Brand New, or manager or something of that sort. I don't remember the exact title. And then I started listening to that, and then I went on this whole tangent of other bands to see if I still liked them from when I was 14 or not, and most of them were a no, and a handful were a yeah.
What were the best and what were the worst?
The worst, like, there was a band called Alisana that I had a hoodie of in, like, junior high or something. That was a really dope hoodie, but I listen to the band now, and I'm like, wow, this is awful. I don't know how I thought this was good at the time, but whatever. And, like, Love, Hate, Hero and shit like that. It was like the post-metalcore era almost. And I don't know, there was just a lot that were bad. And then they all kind of like got into that same sound of what you would think a Hot Topic band would sound like. But then there were some, like, I listened to like Bullet for My Valentine's first record, and I was like, oh, this stands up pretty well. Like, it's cool still. There's a lot of sweet different melodies and guitar riffs and whatnot. And I don't know, just shit like that. But for the most part, I've still been listening to like The Testers and Wire and I don't know, just Richard Hell and shit like that. Television, Heartbreakers, all that like CBGB's, Max's Kansas City era punk music. That's been like my whole kick for
I'm all over the place.
3 weeks now.
But I'm mostly in a hardcore kick and like cold wave shit.
Oh, like Soviet cold wave stuff?
Or like like Bauhaus would be not so much cold wave, but like
Dark wave.
yeah, shit like that. And then some of the like Cold Cave I really like. Drab
that-
Majesty.
What do you think of the new Drab Majesty?
What do I think of it?
Yeah. So far.
So
I mean,
far-
it's not out yet.
I don't mind the direction they're going, but I do want to hear the rest.
Right. It just sounds less dark.
Yeah, and I
Like, it
really
sounds
dig the dark.
more poppy than dark.
Which
I
I
knew-
read an interview with them, and they they said they're going that a more poppy direction anyway.
Yeah. Which kind of sucks.
But it
Because
depends.
those first 3 albums were all really good. Oh, and the new Monolord. There's 2 new singles that Monolord did that are pretty good.
Are you into Monolord in general?
Oh yeah, I love them.
Yeah, Monolord's
I have
fucking
all
tight.
their records.
I
That's right. You seen them live,
I
and you didn't really care for them.
they're like I've known them forever. I've like listened to their stuff a lot, and I feel like on paper they should be like my favorite band.
Yeah.
But something about I don't know. Like I like them, but
If I remember right, you said it was the heavily synthesized voice,
I think
which
yeah,
they
it's
cut back
mostly-
on now.
Oh really?
It's
So that's
like
what I was gonna ask.
way. I almost was like, this ain't Monolord, because
No,
it
you're
like
like, "This is bullshit."
it went the opposite direction.
Well, it
where
sounds
I was
like I gotta
like, oh
listen to
shit,
it. I saw them with Fire Breather. Who's
Yeah.
on the same label.
I love Fire Breather.
Fire Breather's like their most recent album. I think is absolutely incredible. It's everything I'm looking for in like a
Was it
sludgy metal
the
band.
Dwell in the Fog,
Yeah,
I think
Dwell
the
in the
name
Fog.
was it.
It's got that like
I just
nightmare
pulled
horse
that
on it. Yeah, that was good.
Way out of the back of my head.
Yeah, that album though is sweet. I love the production on it, and his voice is so raw on it. Like he's
Yeah.
not really screaming the whole time, but he's got like the Matt Pike or like the Motorhead voice where it's like I don't know.
Raspy.
Yeah, it's
like
raspy and
Stoner rock voice where it's
Yeah.
like Orange Goblin. And,
Right.
My kid said it sounded like Drunken Mastodon,
yeah, pretty much.
which was I was like, damn, that's a very accurate description. Way to go.
Good job, man.
Because
You're like,
I showed him and he was like, I don't know. But that was before he got into Mastodon. So maybe
Gotcha.
I should revisit and show him again. Because I thought they were fucking awesome. And not just because of the Mastodon connection. It was
Right.
just, in general, musically, like, all the riffs that they had were sweet. And I like that Motorhead style sounding voice. I think it's almost bluesy, but like rock, but metal. And there's like a mix mash of a bunch of different things.
100% agree. I wish Mastodon still sounded more like that, you know. I mean, I like their new stuff, but man, you put on
It's
Leviathan.
definitely more proggy than like Remission or Leviathan.
Yeah.
Well, from musicians' point of view, obviously they're gonna get kind of bored.
Yeah. And they became like one of the biggest metal bands in the world
I know,
right
it's
now. And they
so
went from
fucking
being
weird.
like, I remember when they did that like little thing for Aqua Teen Hunger Force and shit. Like they were just small time. And I mean, that seemed like a big thing doing something for Aqua Teen, but Aqua Teen hadn't even blown up yet. It was still like way early on in the show.
I feel like Mastodon has gotten more proggy and more poppy, and it's a weird mix. It's not bad. I like it.
I just was never a big Mastodon fan.
Yeah. Like Opeth kind of did a similar thing.
Did you
where
like
they
that
just-
Arcadia record?
Yeah, that shit's sick.
That is a cool record.
Yeah, I
It's,
like that.
It's Brandaler, right?
Yeah. It's like all synth.
It's all it's like
but
the
it's
two
fucking
green
awesome,
hands on
dude.
the
That's
front.
another. Yeah, dude.
That's a sweet record.
One Step Closer. I've been listening to a lot. Mind Force. It's
Mind Force.
Yeah, it's
Ryan
fucking
had me
tight.
on that. It's really cool.
Oh
Very
yeah, I
raw.
forgot I have a list of other
And
hardcore
Rain.
bands for you.
Perfect.
It's in my
That we had
notes.
the interview with Dom.
Oh, Drain
His
is
band.
I really like
Drain.
that one too.
Drain's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
I was listening to that a lot.
That's funny.
It's like Pantera, but it's like modern and
It's like-
hardcore.
Yeah, it's
But it's sweet.
silly. Like dad's doing hardcore is fucking pretty cool.
That new End Rain's badass.
Fuck yeah, it
I
is.
think
Oh,
we've
I
said
enjoyed
that.
that.
We've said that for 3
Yeah,
episodes.
and it's been on
now,
my, and
but
like I've been spinning the shit out of that.
I went back and listened to Law Dispute's first 2 records after we interviewed the Augie from
Oh, right on.
Draft at Birth, because he was talking about them, and I was like, man, that's another band I haven't listened to in forever.
I was listening to Pulling Teeth this morning, which is all related to End Rain. That's another band from that guy. Which
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
Dom's
interview,
band.
yeah, he said something about it, and I listened to a part of that, and I was like a total nerd about it. Like, oh, you were in Pulling Teeth? Cool, dude. But I was like pumped about it, man. That's so weird.
You said that was fucking awesome.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
It's fresh in my head.
It's excited,
Just edited it not that long ago.
and but yeah, I'm all over the place.
Oh, I checked out Tram.
Oh, isn't it sweet?
Yeah, it's like modern day Brand X.
It
is
pretty
pretty
much.
what I
Yeah,
like.
it's pretty
I
much
sent
exactly
it to
it.
somebody today and was like, because the guy that showed me Brand X was John. We had him on the jazz episode.
Oh yeah.
He's like a big jazz fan. And I was like, oh, check this band out. It's like modern day Brand X. He hasn't gotten back to me yet, but I'll see what he thinks.
It's cool because it feels very vintage. Like I think it came out in like 2008 or 7. I don't know. It was-
11.
11? Okay. But it feels to me like something you'd hear coming out in the 50s, 60s.
Oh,
I don't know.
gotcha.
I like it a lot more than, like, Okay, I used to love Animals as Leaders, and I would like try and learn their songs on guitar and stuff. And
Before you get into that, for reference, the band, Animals as Leaders.
Yeah.
This is the members of that band.
Is Tram.
Yeah, with a jazz project.
Oh, okay.
right,
Go ahead.
it's like jazz
I just had
project.
No, I
I
didn't.
showed
I
him the
didn't know.
record cover, and he didn't say he knew it, so I wanted to catch you up to speed.
Yeah, so I used to love Animals as Leaders, but like I found myself less and less interested in like, even though they do a great job of it, like the polyrhythm, shred, like virtuoso type music. I don't know. I'm not really so interested in it anymore, but that record I keep coming back to still because it's like, I don't know, it's like vintage jazz that's really technical.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And you can definitely hear still in the background, all the Animals as Leaders, like their kind of signature sound, I guess you'd call it. Because the way they like play their bass and like kind of tie everything together just very much reminded me of Animals as Leaders. But I like all the jazz element to it. Like, it'd be cool if Animals as Leaders did more jazz, but I guess that's what the whole reason for the project was.
Right,
So.
yeah. I'd like to see more of that.
Yeah, I mean, 12 years is a long time to not come out with a record. But
Yeah, I think it was probably just a one-off that they wanted to do. But
it's a cool idea, though.
Oh, 100%.
And I like the album artwork. It's weird.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of random, dumb album artwork. Like, there's no reason that applies to the record whatsoever.
That, to me, have you guys seen or read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
I've seen the movie a long time ago.
That reminds me of that vibe where it's like weird space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like absurdity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because
It's like
this
a Turkish
gorilla's
gorilla.
wearing like a Shriner's hat.
Yeah.
And this alien chick's got 4 arms and 4 boobs.
It's but they're like dressed up like it could be like the 20s,
Yeah.
It's funny. So
Oh, she's got 4 legs too. I didn't even notice that. And 4 eyes.
it all adds up.
Damn, it just keeps going.
The math is real.
My brain just totally farted on me. Oh, now I remember. It came back. I was trying to find something.
Outer Heaven also. I showed you that the other day. I don't know if you listened to it yet.
I did.
It's a new,
That shit's fucking
new relapse
rad.
band.
Oh, cool.
When I first heard the single, I was like, whatever, just another metal band. And sometimes it takes like hearing the whole record together
100%.
to get, because they could do one thing that kind of sounds cool in the song, and you're like, I've heard it. But then it was like Blood Incantation I had that with. I heard the one song, and I don't remember what song it was, but I was like, yeah, that's cool. But then I heard like when they start getting into the kind of spacey breakdowns and shit that they do, and it like completely sold me on the band. And it was the same with Outer Heaven. They kind of have like a certain, I don't even know what instrument it would be or what to call it or anything. It's just kind of a cool like background sound that they put in the music. And I think the vocals were done really well. The guy has like it's almost industrial sounding a little bit.
Oh, interesting. Is it like industrial death metal or?
I wouldn't call it industrial death metal, but like vocally it reminds me of.
And that's like the one thing like I don't care for is the vocals
Really?
in it. Yeah, but that's just me,
That was like what stood out to me.
Yeah, see,
but
that's what
then
I
like
didn't like.
musically, it's just I don't know. It's fucking good. Like
Oh yeah, for sure. It's fucking tight, like together tight, and it
But
sounds
I've seen
fucking
it on a
good.
list of like recently released with Relapse Records, and then I always check out their shit because usually it's good. It's like when $20 Spin releases
100%.
something, you're like, yeah, this will probably be good.
I heard there's some dude on YouTube making fun of that shit. Like, I'm just gonna go on $20 Spin and I'll just buy whatever. Death metal's dead, blah, and like freaking out about it. And I'm like, well, he's kind of right. I mean, you can just go on $20 Spin and just
Buy whatever.
that one, and
But
be
at
all
the
right.
same time,
What
if
was
you're a
his point?
fan, like, wouldn't you want there to be a plethora of good
Right.
death metal
But
to
it's
buy?
it's like one of those like what do you call them? Assholes? I don't know. That just fucking like talk shit, Like,
So was he was complaining about $20 spin?
yeah, like he was talking. I don't even forget who it was now, but he was talking shit about how like there's no progression in death metal, and death metal died like in '99 or something or whatever. And then he said like he was like making fun of metalheads who would just go on $20 Spin and just pick a band. But it's like you can do that, and the shit sounds fucking badass. Like they don't have a bad band, in my opinion, that I've heard.
Yeah, I really like 20 Buck Spin,
But it's
they don't just do death metal. Is the
I
thing?
know,
It's
I
like,
know, I know.
they put out doom and like
all kinds,
trad,
yeah.
heavy metal, and all kinds of stuff. So,
But
Yeah,
yeah, it's
black
funny.
metal.
They got black metal bands too.
Yeah,
So, but
weird.
But
yeah,
I mean,
it's funny.
Relapse doesn't just do metal either. They have like some industrial shit. They got that Mirker chick that does like
she's crazy, dude.
is she Danish?
Yeah, she's from Denmark.
Yeah. She
She
does
does,
like
yeah.
Danish folk music.
She
that's,
does
like
black
folk
metal, too.
I know her earlier stuff's black metal, but that Folk and Sage album that she had was
Yeah.
all
Amazing.
like old folk songs.
I love that album.
I thought it was great, but it's hard to pitch to people because it's one, not in English, and two,
Yeah.
sounds like Danish Enya, basically. Like,
Danish Enya.
it's really good though. Like when I first heard it, that was like when I first seen her. I was like, oh, who's this chick on Relapse? It's got to be metal-esque. And I heard that, and I was like, this is not metal at all, but it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, she plays like 10 instruments or something, and the fact that she does all like the traditional folk instruments and like sings at the same time is very, very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, impressive.
And her black metal scream is like, it's up there. It's one of the best.
Okay, so I got a question. Okay, like she did a black metal album, or
She's done
what
a few.
defines black metal in that case? Is it lyrical content, or is it the scream?
I think it's like it's a combination of things.
But you know what I'm saying? like earlier we were talking about bands, like before you even got here, and we're like, oh, this fucking band was awesome. And then it's like, listening to it now, dude, it's a fucking Christian band. Like, what the fuck,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
right?
I was
So, I always thought to be black metal, you had to point towards some fucking sort of dark Satanist type shit.
Yeah, generally the lyrical
Lyrically.
themes are dark, but
You know what I
there's
mean?
like a lot of them are like pagan, a lot of them are satanic, a lot of them are just about like nature and like seasons generally, but like in a dark way, I guess. I feel like though there's
I just
certainly
think
a
it gets
musical style.
whitewashed. Like, I think it's too much. Like,
There's too much
Too many
black metal,
people
you're
say,
saying?
like, yeah, like this is black metal, that's black metal, that's. But I think it's too spread out. Like they're diluting it. You know what I mean?
Sure. I think that's just the natural like progression of music is like
Fucking
if
pisses
something's
me
good,
off.
people start making similar things
Yeah,
but
yeah,
adding
yeah.
in new
And
stuff.
mixing it.
I
Like,
personally
I like when it's, if they use the term like it's blackened. I get it or whatever.
yeah.
But
That's actually my favorite black metal is when it's mixed with something else.
right,
Like,
right,
I don't
right.
really like.
See,
but
I'm a
there's-
traditionalist when it comes to fucking certain shit. Like,
Oh, for sure. There's a great like first and
I'm
second wave.
all over
but-
the fucking place, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I was just wondering what you would define as what would be
I-
black metal.
I have a question that goes off of that. So, have you ever listened to Deaf Heaven?
Yeah, I love Deaf Heaven.
Do you think they're a black metal band?
People argue so much about this. I think they have elements of black metal, but it's not
Black metal band.
a black metal band because you listen to it and the chord progression is like the Smashing Pumpkins, right? But then it's super aggressive, high scream, tremolo picking, like really fast rhythm section, all the hallmarks of what it sounds like to be black metal, except it's really happy and the album cover's pink, right? So I don't know. Their first record, Sunbather, not black metal.
I
their
seen them
second
tour on
record?
that album.
I saw them on New Bermuda.
They opened for like Lamb of God and Anthrax.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that tour too. That was New Bermuda.
Was it?
Or maybe they did the tour multiple times. But yeah,
Maybe.
those three. I saw that was a crazy
I
show.
just remember it being like quite a while ago.
Was Power Trip on that leg for you too? 'Cause
Yeah.
for me it was
Yeah.
Power
So it
Trip.
had to have been
Anthrax.
the-
yeah.
Power
There's no
Trip's
way it was a
fucking
different
Power
dope.
Trip
one
is
then.
sweet.
Yep, Power Trip was there, Deaf Heaven, Anthrax, and Lamb of God.
But Deaf Heaven, I think their second album is black metal.
So I didn't like them live.
I don't
listened
fuck
to
with
it.
Deaf Heaven.
I listened to it live, and I was like, I don't know what they had going on. Maybe their sound guy didn't know how to mix their sound or something, but it just like reverberated through like your whole body to where it was just a way unenjoyable experience. Like it didn't sound musically appealing. It was just like, I feel old saying this, but it was just noise. And like, I don't like calling music that. Well, I guess our store name is Noise and Toys, and our podcast name's Noise Avocation. So I guess in a way I do, but it just sounded noisy as like unpleasant, not noisy as like to classify a broad spectrum of things.
Sure. I think it's very possible that was a venue issue because they're touring with Anthrax and Lamb of God, which are going to be very, very different setups.
And
right?
they guarantee you they have their own dude who's like, that's our fucking sound guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It was at the Orbit Room in Grand Rapids.
Okay. I've never been there. I saw
small.
them in Indianapolis. I saw them at in the Egyptian Room, which is big, and I thought their sound was really good actually, because you know a lot of the live stuff you see, you can just tell that it's not set up well. But that one was like actually, and I had heard that the Egyptian Room didn't have the best sound, and then I went and saw them, and I was like, Def Heaven sounded great. I skipped Anthrax because I didn't care, and then Power Trip sounded all right. I was expecting, but I think it was just
I expected them to play better than what they did, but they were still really good. I liked them more than Def Heaven, but
That's funny. I mean, yeah, Power Trip was awesome.
yeah,
Power Trips, I wish they could keep going.
Have you heard it's the same rhythm section.
Yeah.
They're the guys who did Eternal Champion. Have you listened to that?
yep.
That's like my favorite, one of my favorite modern bands.
There was
They're so
another
good.
band that was kind of like that you told me about that I was listening to not that long ago that I cannot for
style?
the life of me remember the name. What was it?
It was like in that style.
Yeah. Same kind of, even like the same kind of artwork and stuff. It'll come to me after we're done when it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, I mean,
but
we were talking about Gatekeeper yesterday. You talking about that?
that wasn't that.
What was the album cover?
Some dude riding a horse, which doesn't really narrow it down for you.
No, it doesn't.
Was it?
Oh, Havukruno.
No,
Right?
that wasn't
No.
it either.
Oh, that one's got a
But
guy
that
on
one
it.
was, yeah, I know.
That
That's
one's
why I said
sweet.
it doesn't narrow it down for you.
A black horse?
No,
That doesn't narrow it down either.
It was a tan horse.
Damn it. If it was a black horse, I was thinking maybe it was
I remember the band had either red or orange lettering, and now you guys are both trying to find it.
Oh man, you got to go on Bandcamp and.
But yeah, that band, it was like in the same realm as Eternal Champion and that kind of music. It was like Conan inspired, I want to say. Like it had that sound to it. I want to say it started with an S, but I can't remember. There's too much shit to remember in a day for band names.
Oh, for sure.
And there's always more coming up too.
I'm stumped on who that band might be.
It'll come to me afterwards and I'll send it to you. But
That's good.
I might have to go through like our chat history because I don't even actually, it's probably in my iTunes library. Yeah, you're like my go-to for bands like that.
Soft Kill. You ever listen to Soft Kill?
No, hardcore?
Yeah.
No, like there's synth in there and
Oh, cool.
it's kind of weird.
I can check it out.
They're like weren't they on that crazy ass Darkwave festival?
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
I have one.
That had like every good synthwave, darkwave band ever.
Yeah, they're on Profound Lore Records,
Oh,
which is
cool.
a cool.
Yeah.
You know that
That's a
label.
really good
yeah.
label.
I have the album Choke. I really like. Kind of, I don't know. I'm into like. It's kind of where I'm headed. You know.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I can't think of who else is on that label that's awesome, but I know somebody else is. That's like a band that I regularly listen to.
If you go, well, I'm sure it's on all streaming services, but they literally have everything on a playlist on Spotify, like everything. Where it's almost like too much, you know what I mean?
I'm trying to remember what I like from that label because
That's what I was thinking of, because I know there's like one really sweet band that I thought was on $20 Spin. Maybe it's
I was looking at their.
It might be
website like a week
Wayfarer.
ago. Oh, Wayfarer's pretty cool.
they were like folk metal, folk black metal,
Oh, Bell Witch. is the
American
one that-
folk black metal. Bellwitch, yeah.
Yeah, Bell Witch is really cool. I like their album Mirror Reaper a lot. Oh, Paul Bear's on there too. That's
Oh,
where I
okay.
originally
Yeah,
had
Paul
them.
Bear's the
Yob and
shit.
Paul Bear.
Yeah, okay.
Now I'm just looking and seeing what else is on there. I'll have to dive into this label because if they have 3 bands I really like.
Yeah, Bellwitch had that one record that looked a lot like the Obituary record because the
Same
same
artist,
guy did the
yeah.
artwork.
What he just died recently.
Yep. Don't even try to think of his name. It's hard.
It's a Polish
I
name.
remember when you were trying to say it.
Yeah. I was like, fuck
Both of
that.
us had it written down, and we were like, I don't fucking know.
What about the Soft Moon? You ever listen to that dude?
No.
That's a single dude, Luis Vasquez, like Luis Luis.
Oh, that's
I
right.
love
So-
his
Yeah, Luis
shit.
Vasquez.
I forgot. Did you listen to any more of the goddamn Gallows stuff after that night that we were talking about it?
I did not, because I don't have Wi-Fi at the moment. So
Oh,
I've
yeah.
just been, and like I was going to listen to it when I was working in a coffee shop, and then I didn't have headphones. So,
Okay.
but on my drive, probably later tonight, I'm thinking I'll cue some of that up. Because I was really, it was the goddamn Gallows, and it was,
Legendary Shack Shakers.
yeah, the Shack Shakers.
Which
Both of
albums?
those,
I sent him
There was a-
Pandalirium for Shack Shakers.
Yeah.
and so that radioed into a
And then
Gallows
it went
song.
into Seven Devils for
Yeah.
Okay.
The yellow one with the skull, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Goddamn Gallows like pretty much has a solid catalog all the way through, but I think The Maker's like their best record.
okay.
Shack Shakers, I think Believe or Swamp Blood are the
Okay.
best records.
I love
Yeah.
that vibe of like dark backwater, folksy,
Oh,
sort of like
dude.
folk rock.
There's like a whole underbelly of bands in that
Yeah,
genre.
it's so
Yeah.
weird. It's like all these fucking black holes you can
Right.
dive into, dude.
So I found one called I think his name's Coulter Wall.
Yep.
And it's like Haunted Appalachia or something like that.
Yep.
But like the devil wears a suit and tie. Like there's some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like that whole sort of like mythological bluegrass.
Yep.
I love that. So I'm probably going to be listening to a 50-50 split of like 80s Conan metal and like haunted bluegrass.
Haunted bluegrass.
Yeah, dude.
That's an interesting divide.
Yeah, I love like folk music in general though. So
Yeah, like Goddamn Gallows, they have like a washboard player.
that's awesome.
The guy that just plays spoons with a washboard over his chest. And then they have a stand-up bass player, a banjo player, guitarist, and drummer. I think that's it, right?
I've heard stand-up bass is really hard. I want to try it at some point.
A
But
lot of those bands play pretty much exclusively stand-up bass. Like Shack Shakers have a stand-up bass player, and he's like the most relaxed guy ever. Like I remember there was like this giant fight breaking out at one of their shows, and this dude's like in like a, I don't know, what's the pattern of those old man hats?
Like
the
wolf's
summer
hound's
hats.
tooth?
No, summer hats. They're like a fedora, but it's like looks like a wicker chair or something. And he had a Hawaiian shirt on, and he's just in there slapping his bass while people are punching each other in the face, and like just casually, like it's another day on the road.
that's perfect for that vibe though.
Yeah.
Like people fighting to something like the goddamn Gallows is like their music sounds like you'd be in some like, shithole in the middle of nowhere
Like a
bar.
old saloon type of thing.
Exactly. Like honky tonk saloon, Wild West.
They tend to get like super shit faced at their
yeah,
their
dude,
shows.
they're awesome when they
Like
get
insanely
hammered.
shit faced, but it like works to their favor, and it makes for a fun show. Because I remember one time there was the washboard player gave his washboard to somebody in the crowd, and this dude was just smacking spoons like he had no idea what the fuck he was doing. And then their bass player got off bass and went on banjo, I think. The drummer was singing, the singer was drumming, and like they all switched
fucked
roles.
up.
And somebody got like hoisted up on a chair in the middle of the crowd, and then they dropped him on accident because the floor was slippery because everybody throws beer cans everywhere the whole time. And they're just a really good time. But like Shack Shakers, I think is one of the most like, I mean, they really do live up to the legendary name in their title for their live performances because they're just full of so much energy. Like J.D. Wilkes like rips his chest hair out and like throws it at the crowd, and he's got this like crazy like pocket mic that he holds to his throat to get this like weird tone that he has in some of the songs. And same with Mike from Goddamn Gallows, like he does that yodeling thing where he like flicks his throat.
That's cool.
But it's just so cool because like nobody can, it's hard to make a yodel sound fucking badass. Like you can't, I don't know.
It's an underappreciated
definitely
Never,
like a-
never since Jewel has a yodel been done so well.
Since Jewel.
We played with the Goddamn Gallows when I was in with Bill Reinhold's band, Well Will and the Four Plays. We were like a psychobilly, horror punk fucking band with. That was pretty fun. We got wasted, and like he was saying, the banjo player was fucking drunk. Our singer was screaming at him all wasted. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. It's a gimmick.
Their banjo player currently, Jake Orvis, he's sweet. I don't know who was the banjo player at the time in there because they had a different guy named Joe Perez.
Yeah, this was a while ago, dude.
like a long time ago.
Like 12 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're like, you live in Ann Arbor-ish area, so if you are able to catch a goddamn Gallows show, like, definitely go do it.
Are they in Ann Arbor? Like, that's where they're from, or?
I think they're all kind of scattered now, but I know, like, a couple of them are from Lansing area and different, like, spots in Michigan, and I don't know where they say, like, the whole band collectively is from. I think they say that they're from Michigan, but it might just be the bass player and drummer that are from Michigan. I can't remember.
Now, whatever, you know the song Born to Lie?
Yeah.
Whatever that album that's on, I'm pretty sure that said it, that they were from Lansing.
Okay.
For some reason, I'm leaning that way. But
I'm
that
pretty
was
sure
back then.
I'm pretty sure the banjo player's not from Michigan, but I could be wrong. And the rest of them might be.
Okay.
Or actually, Mikey might be from Chicago. I don't fucking know. But it's been a while.
Or you're
since
just
I-
like,
I'm like, yeah. I know they're in like relatively the same remote-ish area, like tri-state area.
yeah, I was telling a Shack Shaker story over the weekend too. But basically, like Ryan said, if you can ever get a chance to see them live, amazing.
I'm going to go online, set up those concert alerts. And
We didn't get the chest hair, we got pubic hair.
No, I got pubic hair too.
Oh, did you?
I got both.
Yeah, I didn't get chest hair.
A bouquet of hair.
I just got pubes.
I was like right up front. He totally hit me with pubes. I was
Yeah.
like, you
Cole got hit with them.
motherfucker.
I knew better. Actually, I was over by, they had David Lee playing guitar at the time, and he had like his own signature Gretchen shit, so I was like, I'm going to check this dude out.
He like picked up, like he like blew him out of his hand like that.
Yeah, it's
into
so
the crowd.
fucking gross.
Like it was fairy dust, and I was like, oh god, no. Like trying to back up, and there's people behind me.
He's an
Yeah.
interesting guy, that fucking Colonel.
I think you would have to be.
J.D. Wilkes is his name. What were you gonna say?
I think you would have to be an interesting guy to be pulling shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, do you
I mean,
guys
it makes
know,
for good stage antics, though.
Yeah, for sure. Like, what's the name of that band? They wrote Fables of a Mayfly. Oh gosh, they were like a prog rock band. It was big in like the mid 2000s. Fair to Midland.
Nope.
You don't know them?
Nope.
Oh, their singer would like climb up into the rafters of the building, and he'd be like singing while hanging from the ceiling and shit. They're really good. I think you like them. It's like
I'm looking it up right now.
their song structures are like very standard pop song, and like lots of hooks and stuff. All the lyrics are like normal idioms where like he says like a phrase that makes sense, and then he'll say the next phrase, it's a different one, but they make sense going into each other. And by like the end of the song, you're like, he just said all phrases and none of it makes any sense. It's kind
Really?
of cool. So it's like interesting wordplay. But the singer has an incredible voice, and all of the riffs are like really groovy. So I really like both of their albums.
Yeah, I
check
just
that
added it to my library right now.
Yeah, definitely.
There's always like 4 or 5 things fresh in my Apple Music after sitting down talking to somebody.
I
Like
used
for
to,
a podcast episode.
Oh yeah, 100%. With that band, I used to like whenever I would lift weights, I had like a specific playlist I would listen to. And like it had to be like really good lifting music to be on that playlist. And like one of their songs, it's called Rikki Tikki Tavi. It's like the greatest lifting song of all time.
That was a book, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's about like the mongoose that fights the cobras. But
I remember that when I was a kid.
yeah, it's a good song. But the dude has he sounds like Neil Fallon on Blood and Thunder, but he only does it on like 2 songs in their discography. And normally he sounds like he's got like a high, like a high tenor, like power ballad voice, nice clean voice. But then he'll just bust out this like sludge death metal, like yell. And
It'd be
does it
cool if
only
he
a
had
couple
a
times.
sludgy death metal band as a side project then.
I totally agree. I think it would be awesome. I think so. The band broke up. They were like touring all the time back in like maybe 2011, but then I feel like the members of the band, or at least one of them, like teaches music at a university now. It would be nice if they were still working on new shit though.
Yeah, it looked like their last record was quite a while ago.
Yeah, I think they're all done. They've got like piano and stuff on the records though. It's nice.
2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 12 years. It's like Tram.
Yeah. So we were talking about Tram, and like we were like, man, it's been a long time. They're probably not going to make another record. Do you have any other albums like that where it's like either a side project or like a band just made one random one-off that you're like, that was amazing, please write more, but you don't think they ever will?
Yep.
Yeah, actually, did we do an episode on that?
I
or
don't know
do we
if we
have an
did
episode
or we
planned
wrote
on
it.
that?
Wrote it
Oh, I
down.
might be spoiling yours.
Yeah.
No, it's all good.
That's all good.
Yeah, it happens all the time, at least in my world.
Yeah.
Because like punk rock, hardcore
Oh,
bands,
true,
you know.
yeah. I really liked Them Crooked Vultures,
Yeah.
and I would have liked to see another one because they hinted at another one a bunch of times, and they like would release like videos from the studio for TCV2, and then they never did it.
Yeah, you never know.
Who was in that band that was in other bands? Wasn't it like a super group of
Yeah.
people?
It was Josh Homme,
Yeah, the Queens of the Stone Age
Dave
guy.
Grohl.
That's right.
So you guys know Dave Grohl, but John Paul Jones played the bass,
Okay.
and I think he did like mandolin and some other stuff on there too.
I do love a good mandolin.
Oh yeah, Battle of Evermore.
Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. Like, I know I got a list of them written down somewhere, but I don't want to give them all away.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Did I ever send you Drude?
Oh, yeah.
D-R-U-D-E?
Yeah, I've
I
listened to
love that
Drude.
album. Wish there was more of that.
Dan Swano's Moon Tower album
Oh,
that
yeah.
he did, I wish
That
he
was
would have
sweet.
done like a second to it. It was just like that synth project thing. I showed it to you, and I think you
Synthopeth.
and I talked
Yeah.
about it before. Yeah, it was Synthopeth, basically. But he was like the one-man band that
Right.
did everything, and just him being one of my favorite vocalists. I wish there was more of that. And there's like a ton of bands that broke up that
Yeah, that wish they would.
either did like one or two records that you wish they wouldn't have broke up afterwards. And then there's bands that you wish would have stopped at one or two records and not disappointed their whole career throughout the rest of it.
Yeah, when I sit and think about it, dude, you could probably come up with 30 fucking bands easy.
Yeah.
Or artists.
Who are some of yours?
I feel like I had a bunch in mind, and now I can't.
Yeah, when you're put on the spot, it's like,
Like, damn. Definitely one of those was Drude, which I brought up, which is like it's like sludge stoner metal. But I saw them open for Pallbearer in Indy, and they stole the show.
No
Like,
shit.
It was the energy on that. So that was a really cool show. They were all like power trios. Or I think so. At least Drude was. But they had like harmonies, two vocalists, like, and the drummer just had so much energy. He played a bunch of stuff that isn't on their album, but like he was doing some crazy blast beats on like sludge, and it worked really well.
oh shit.
And so they released that, and it's like pretty much totally unknown.
And that's
Like,
it.
And that's it. I don't think they have anything else. I'm hoping they write. I see them touring in like the Midwest every now and then, or they play shows in India a lot, I think.
But they haven't put out any new music in a while.
No, not that I have seen anyways. I should take a look because it'd probably be easy to miss.
Well, yeah, nowadays it's so
Right.
crazy.
Heartbreakers would be a good one that only did one official record. And it wasn't even a whole record, actually. It was
like
just
the-
a compilation of
yeah.
demos. But it would have been cool if they had more than what they did. Because I think they were like one of the greatest like punk compilations of like a group that formed out of other groups.
Yeah, it's hard for super
and they
groups,
had
for
they had the name. That's why.
And they had,
Yeah, they had the name before Tom Petty.
Tom Petty's The Heartbreakers
sure.
did.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they were like, "Fuck that, we're keeping it."
By like 1 year. I think 77 or something was when Tom Petty's Heartbreakers formed, and they had it in 76.
There's only one Gangrene album. It'd be cool if there was more. Actually, even the album itself, it's like some live shit, and then I think there's 3 instrumentals tracks on there without lyrics. It's like not a whole lot, really. 8 songs total. Like 3 of them aren't even like complete, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I have a lot of bands like that where they technically have more albums, but I wish they didn't, and they have one album that's like perfect.
Yeah.
Like, There's
for
a
sure.
prog band from probably the early 2010s called Children of Nova that they just had one incredible album, and then they made one more, and it sucked. Nobody liked it, and they stopped after that, right? So,
I've seen that happen a bunch, though.
yeah, I think so.
It's like you set unrealistic expectations for the first album, and then you try to do something for the second because you think you're appeasing your fans, but
Right.
you're not. And then you just butcher it, and they're like, fuck you, dude. We don't want to listen to this shit anymore. And then you just fall off the face of the earth, and then all of a sudden you're singing cover songs in a bar.
Right.
I think that the hunger to make it, or whatever you want to call it, and they put all that fucking energy in every last drop, of fucking whatever into that one record, and then it is successful, and they're like, you gotta do it again.
What now?
What?
Yeah.
Fuck.
That makes sense, actually. Yeah,
And
that's
then
a good
everything's
point.
different. You're not hungry anymore, and you're living better. You're not.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I hear that a lot. Or all the books that we read or whatever, it'll be like
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen was like one of them I read where he was like, nothing clicked, and then
Right.
boom, fucking blew up.
Oh, speaking of Bruce, did you see that the Gaslight Anthem did a song with him?
Yeah, I made it
It's kind of crazy.
20 seconds into it and was just like, and I'm gonna tell you why, because
I didn't listen to it.
it
yet,
doesn't. It literally sounds like he's just doing like 59 sound again, or I mean, like it just has that like, oh, you're up in the morning, girl, fucking blah blah blah, and it's all jangly, and then Bruce comes in like this, and
Yeah.
I was like, skip.
Oh, Toke would be another good one that only did one album. They were a stoner metal band.
Yeah, I remember liking that one. Actually, I think Stoner and Doom has a bunch of those. Like, do you guys know Winter? It's like that 90s Death Doom album. Or maybe it was like early 2000s.
Yeah,
They had
I
one
believe
like
so.
immaculate release. That or Warning. You guys know Warning?
That one I don't know.
That's, people say that, I mean, I don't know if this is true or not. I don't think so, but I've heard people claim that Paul Bearer ripped off Warning's sound. It's like very like, trudging, funeral-y Doom, but the dude has like a really high soaring voice.
So it's, if you like Paul Bearer, you're gonna like Warning, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So they have that album. I think they just have one. It's called Watching from a Distance, I believe. But I really like that album.
That's cool.
I have a question that's kind of similar to that question before we start wrapping things up. So you asked like bands that only made one album that you'd like to get more of. Do you have a band that it's just impossible to get more of because like some of the members died or something that you wish you could have more of? Like Typo Negative, for example.
Death is the first thing that comes to mind for me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Tony Bennett. Sorry.
Too soon.
Too soon.
I feel like
Tony Bennett had like 8 million fucking albums. He already released enough. Like a fucking 70-year-long touring career.
Power Trip's one for me.
Yeah. I wish Trapped Under Ice would do another album.
I wish In for the Kill would do another album.
I talked to the guitar player over the weekend. I don't think he plans on doing anything anytime soon.
Nah, I don't think that'll ever happen.
He has a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 6. I don't know. He's going through hell, though. He's got like
That's
3 little
too many-
kids.
Yeah, that's too many kids at a young age. He ain't got no time for a band.
Shout out to Joey Favis. It was nice to see you. You probably don't even listen to this, but that's cool.
In for the Kill was a local band here years
cool.
ago. That was really cool. They were kind of like Kill Whitney Dead, if you know Kill Whitney Dead.
I do not.
Heavily movie sampled band.
I think another thing to answer that question you just asked, like 2 years ago, my answer could have been System of a Down, but then they randomly released like an EP of 2 songs. But I feel like they're in that camp where they like all hate each other in the band, so they're not making music unless like Armenia is having ethnic problems or like unrest or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but I think that band has aged incredibly well.
Trying to think of like more major things. I would like a major band.
I was going to ask you, Jeremy, if there's any.
I mean, I can think of, like I said, a little one. Like
I would like
Crew
another MC5 album from them as young people, not like when Rob Tyner and all those guys were still alive, not like now as the MC50 or whatever they tour as, where it's like just kind of paying homage to the band in general, where it's like just Wayne and some friends. That would be cool. And
I mean,
I don't know. I could keep going and on and on and on with that, but
I just don't know of any like huge. I'm trying to think of like something that like everybody would know.
Another Kill Whitney Dead album would be sweet if they did it right.
Are we going with we just want another album or one I'm still thinking on the one album.
Well, originally I was going like if they died, like kind of like the Ramones. The Ramones couldn't do another record,
Right.
Because obviously, like, I guess you could have a Joey impressionist kind of try
Like,
to mock his voice, but at that point,
I'd
it
love
would
a
sound
Ghetto
like,
Boys right now. Like a
Yeah.
new Ghetto Boys album.
That'd
That'd
be
be
sweet.
fucking gnarly.
You could still have 2/3 of it.
I
Or
know.
2/4 of it, I guess, depending on what era you're talking about.
Oh, by the way, I'm reading Prodigy's book, and I read like the story behind why the ghost is on the cover and shit.
Yeah.
And going back to another episode when that was on your list of like the one you want, now it like totally makes sense in my mind why you want it. Because I'm like, okay, it's cool, like I get it, but now that I know the story behind it, it's like, oh yeah, dude, that would be cool to fucking get. Anyway, so yeah, it'd be cool if Mobb Deep could, but obviously that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that can't. There's a lot in hip hop.
I know.
But to be honest with you, I would not want a new Tupac album.
We don't need it.
I'm sorry, Tupac fans. I just don't.
No,
I'd take a new Biggie record though, because like
there was they didn't have a lot out of him. Like
yeah, and P
everything's
Diddy fucking
gone.
ruined all of them except one by talking over the fucking songs the whole time.
I still
piece of
like
shit.
partying bullshit.
If P Diddy ever listens to this, fuck you for that.
Classic. He'll like
He's gonna tune in like, you piece of shit. I'm shutting you down.
tunes in like in 10 years.
So I have one last question. What about things coming out soon that you're looking forward to? My only answer currently is the new Mutoid Man that comes out next
yeah,
week.
that was gonna be my answer.
Oh, and the new Dying Fetus.
I'm definitely waiting for that new Dying Fetus.
Do you want the new Mutoid Man or no?
No.
Okay.
You don't like that band?
No, I do like them, but
I just need to know how many to have
for
like
purchasing,
on
gotcha.
hand for
I'm
the
not
store.
gonna purchase it.
Good to know, because you'd be like probably one of 3 people. I guess I gotta show more people that band. For anybody listening that's local or not local, check out Mutoid Man. And I think we told you two already before, but I guess some people don't listen the first time they're told, so this is the second time.
Member of Converge side project.
Yeah, the drummer from Converge, the singer from Cave In, and I really got to remember where the other dude's from, because this is the second time I forgot.
Either way, it's
sorry, other dude.
like kind of a super group.
Yeah, it's a little mini super group, but they're like space rockers. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
how
it's
to-
dope.
Yeah.
How do you like define?
It's like stoner rock, but with a punk beats per minute, like a punk tempo.
Yeah,
But then all of the riffs sound like they came out of like one of those bullet hell video games,
yeah.
or it's like a
Yeah.
boss fight theme.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it's like
That's what
psycho rockabilly.
I
don't
know exactly what you're.
It's
It made
cool.
me want to play like Mega Man or something when I
exactly.
first heard it, for sure.
I think they do a Power Glove sample in one of their songs.
Really, that's pretty
cool.
cool.
It might be. I think it's on the first record.
And he's like, it's funny because Cave In, I feel like, is very lyrical.
Yeah,
Like when he's singing, he's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
very
definitely.
tuned into the artistry of his, poetic lyrics. And in Mutoid Man, he doesn't give a fuck. He's like, I had sex with the devil. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, think about like you have to have that duality,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
shit.
it was
so-
the Devil's Daughter.
Oh yeah, it is the devil's daughter.
Where he's like, came inside of Satan's daughter. The first time I heard that, I was like, oh, that's fucking hilarious.
It's like funny, but it's also like I don't really want to listen to that. Man. I'm sorry, I skipped that song.
I'm
when I
just
put that
kind of
record on.
wondering what
I love
fucking
that song.
Satan's daughter would look like, dude. Kind of mad. Like she probably could look attractive, like to us, but like in reality, she's a fucking like looks like the chick crawling out of the tub from The Shining.
You're probably right.
You know,
Or the girl crawling out of the TV from The Ring.
Could be that.
yeah, it could be that.
Or the
That's
chest
fucking
burster from
scary.
Alien.
Yeah.
If I went out with
Or
a
Linda
chest
Blair.
burster, I would probably be like, yeah, you know, just
Amazing.
because it'd be like, wow, dude, I'm about to mother this fucking crazy little acid-blooded fucking alien. It's gonna kill my entire family and everybody in town. Cool.
Bucket list item. As far as stuff I'm excited about that's coming out, have you guys heard Finster Forest?
Mm-hmm.
I really liked their last album.
Let's see what's coming.
It's called Voot.
Voot.
W-U-T. No,
It's
it's
a band I haven't
Zerfall.
listened to in like quite a while.
Yeah, their 2019 album is like I think it's the best like symphonic. I don't know. I feel like sometimes folk metal is done with like really high production value, and I usually, it can be good. This is the best high production folk metal. Like the brass and everything hits super hard, and they do like epic 30-minute songs and stuff. So I'm really excited to hear what they do next. I think they're doing an EP, but they released a single. I haven't heard it yet.
There's a lot of brass in it.
Yeah, like tubas and like
Yeah,
it's really
like,
punchy.
Is it? Do they almost have like a New Orleans twist to it, or
No,
it's they're just using those
It's
instruments?
they're like German traditional folk, like they're folk metal from Germany.
Gotcha.
So they're using, I guess, traditional Western European or Central European instruments, and he's got like a real deep baritone voice, and then they hit the brass.
Oh,
it's
that
heavy.
probably sounds
It's really
badass.
Cool.
I wanted to say, since you mentioned Deaf Heaven, the Sunbathe, their 10th anniversary comes out tomorrow.
Oh, it's pink.
Yeah. It's
Oh, they changed the color.
It's 2 disc,
Oh, cool.
so you get pink and some sort of gold looking thing. Death Wish Records.
There's a new Cadaver coming out. That's a band that hasn't released a record in a really long time.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I would not have expected that.
New Ackercock, Voivod, Zenith Passage.
These are all bands that I'm like, oh yeah, I know about them, but I don't listen to a ton.
Yeah.
Voivod's kind of cool, actually, if I remember.
I was going through the list of releases for this week.
Can you find that? That comes out this week.
What? Recipe for Hate? Yeah, I can get that.
Word up.
I was looking at like all the releases for this week just to try to like pad my order for the store, because I went on my shelf list and it was like Mutoid Man and one other thing, and I was like, shit, that's not a lot of stuff coming out this week. And there was like nothing all that crazy coming out. Like, I don't know if it's just because they're like, it's the end of the month, we don't want to put anything nuts out. But usually there's 400 or 500 releases, and there's like 300, but it's all shit that I know I couldn't sell and I've never heard of or anything. And
dude, they got Mortal Kombat fucking.
I seen that.
This shit's cool. But we were just saying like how expensive video game soundtracks always are for whatever reason.
They're usually like $60 for some reason.
And there's like, I'm not paying $60.
I was just looking through Loudwire at upcoming metal releases.
Yeah, either the video game soundtracks, either they're $60 or they came free with the game, and so you just listen to it all the time.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, I've had a number like that where it's like, yeah, I'm always listening to the Witcher 3 soundtrack because it's like folk music.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It just came with the game.
That's dope.
That's a good way to market the soundtrack, though.
Yeah, 100%.
To just give out a copy of it.
Yeah, I listen to that all the time, actually.
Yeah.
I know.
Made me play the game more.
Like Far Cry, a lot of people like that fucking soundtrack too, I guess. Fallout, yeah, that's the other one.
The one I hear the most lately, Skyrim. Everyone always loves that soundtrack, and Doom.
I own Doom, dude. I fucking love that shit. Yeah. And me and my kid have used to play it and just like put all the cheats on and fucking just go through it.
Doom's a sweet soundtrack.
My girlfriend listens to that while she's studying for like med school tests.
Suiting.
Epic vibe.
Yeah.
That's pretty sexy, dude.
But anyways, dude, I know you got to drive 4 hours back down home, so we'll let you get out of here.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming in and talking a bunch of random nonsense. And it was cool to have you actually in the studio. I think you're like our
second person. Third.
Yeah.
No? Do we have 3?
John Jameson.
Oh, I forgot we had Jameson. My bad, homie.
Tristan. Did we have another one?
No, it was early on.
Okay. But yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate
it, guys.
You got anything you want to add before we sign off?
Fuck, man, I hope you come back up soon.
I'll be up soon. I'm thinking Labor Day, probably.
Oh, right on. Cool.
Yeah. Trying to get a job right now, but once that's lined up, I'll be back up here.
Awesome. Well, good luck on your endeavors.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you soon.